Yo, what's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. As always, my name is Anton, and hopefully all of you guys are having a fantastic day because we're going to be returning to one of our favorite bands on the channel, Citizen Soldier, and this is Bedroom Ceiling. So this recently came out, and you guys know how I feel about Citizen Soldier. I love these guys, and Jake is a great dude too. Shout out to you, Jake, man, you rock. I love you. And also, I want to mention to all of you guys that if you have any suggestions for artists you want to see on the channel, please leave them down below in the YouTube comments section, and I'll take some of those and I'll put them on the Discord voting list, which if you haven't already, jump in and join the Discord. That's where we vote every single week on what artists will be coming on the channel the next week. So if you haven't already, jump in and vote on that. And also want to give a big shout out to Sharon on this video. Sharon and Gage and Trish, who are my in the supporter squad, my like big Citizen Soldier fans. So thank you guys, I love you. And let's get into Citizen Soldier, Bedroom Ceiling.
Heard the things that I say to my bedroom ceiling. Would you have me committed for the things I'm feeling? When I tell anybody else, it only goes in circles. Sick of oversharing till my face gets purple. No one understands me like my bedroom ceiling.
One thing I find really interesting about Jake, and I think, what is this? Is this my fourth Citizen Soldier song? It's my fifth, actually. One thing I've noticed is a lot of singers, they don't leave in breaths in an audible way in the mix. It always sounds like most artists have a very clean, pristine mix. They don't allow anything into the mix more than what they need to. And what I've noticed about Citizen Soldier is not only does Jake leave sighs in the mix, he'll leave little emotional tones at the end of notes, almost like he's running out of breath or that he's almost about to cry. And the interesting thing about that is not only does he do that, but now it has become such an integral part of their sound that like I hear it in like every song. And it for me is one of the calling cards that if I didn't know it was a Citizen Soldier song, it would kind of tell me that, right? Like I was talking to Timo from Our Mirage when he came on the podcast a couple months ago, and he was saying that every record, for a lot of these big, like really good bands, every album will have a specific theme in the background. So he made the example Architects, how on like Architects always has this like spacey sound in the background. And it's just, it's not for you actually to listen to. It's that it's like a calling card. It makes you go, oh, this is Architects. It adds a level of familiarity. Because it's in the background, you don't actively pick it up. It doesn't influence your perspective of the song. But let's say Architects ever really switches up their sound like they have. As long as they have that in the background, it almost calms your nervous system a bit when you listen to it because you go, oh, this is still Architects. You know what I mean? There's like a level of familiarity, kind of like a best friend or a partner or a relationship. So just a couple interesting things there, but let's go back into it.
Understands me like my bedroom ceiling. Oh, this is so messed up, cause I trust this room more than anyone. Oh, let me spill my guts with the only one that'll never run. When I'm at my worst and I'm so ashamed,
Falsetto.
Nobody stays. Oh no, am I that messed up? Cause I trust this room more than anyone. If you heard the
okay, I know I just paused it like 20 seconds ago, but I always you know me. Most bands I'll pause after the first chorus to summarize my thoughts. If I really like a band like Citizen Soldier, or if just something is so striking at the beginning, I'll pause it. But most bands I don't, because I don't know, most bands don't have something that like just throws me for a loop kind of in the middle. But yeah, definitely Jake's voice sounds stronger here, like more confident, just like a bit more to it. You know what I mean? I don't know, because this is all on one record, or maybe he wrote this one near the end, or I don't know. I'd like to talk to him about this one when he comes on the podcast, but yeah, let's get back into it.
Cause I trust this room more than anyone.
Yeah, like right there.
If you heard the things that I say to my bedroom ceiling, you'd be more focused on fixing than who they're killing. Don't know why you cringe when I say I don't want to live. 4-inch concrete, listen better than you ever did. No one understands me like my bedroom ceiling. Oh, this is so messed up, 'cause I trust this room more than anyone. Oh, let me spill my guts with the only one that'll never run. When I'm at my worst and I'm so ashamed, I open up and nobody stays. Oh no, am I that messed up? 'Cause I trust this room more than anyone. Let me be alone, 'cause I've already found the perfect therapist hanging from my home. And nothing feels better than to cry like this. Let me be alone, 'cause I've already found the perfect therapist hanging from my home. And nothing feels better than to cry like this. Oh, this is so messed up, 'cause I trust this room more than anyone. Oh, let me spill my guts with the only one that'll never run. When I'm at my worst and I'm so ashamed, I open up and nobody stays. Oh no, am I that messed up? 'Cause I trust this room more than anyone.
His voice was, Jake's voice was phenomenal in this song. I noticed it every time he sung anyone or alone. I think it was those two words. He just like, I don't think I've heard that from Jake before. Just like that level of intensity going into that note. But yeah, a couple of thoughts on this one. First of all, just it makes me think of how much this band is therapy for people. And I've said this before. I don't want to, sound like a broken record, but that's the weird thing about these reactions is I don't know who's seen the videos before. So if I don't say what's on my mind because I've maybe said it before, someone who has not seen my previous videos doesn't get that piece of information that this song brought out of me. And then if they have, they have. So it's like, yeah. So I'll just pretty much say it. But yeah, it's like definitely like, one thing that I feel stands apart from Citizen Soldier or makes Citizen Soldier stand apart from other bands is just that really cutting emotional honesty in a very specific way. Like I've said before, a lot of other bands will lace their lyrics in metaphor and ways of generalizing a message. Like, they'll find a way to just put a little bit of insulation between them and the lyrics. So it's not so cutting. Like, again, like when I listen to Citizen Soldier sometimes, it's actually uncomfortable. How honest it is. I wouldn't say uncomfortable because this stuff doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. Like, I was in counseling psychology. I was doing a master's of counseling. So I wouldn't say uncomfortable. I would say it hits me like maybe it's because I relate to it in a way I don't relate to a lot of other stuff. Maybe it does make me feel a bit uncomfortable. Maybe it takes me back a bit to kind of how I felt when I was younger. That's interesting. I have to kind of like delve into those feelings. But there is like a feeling of wow, that's potent. And this song I feel very relatable to. Not recently, because like I've told you guys, I've found friends and family now in my life who like have my back unconditionally and who unconditionally love me. Like my mom, my friend Christian, who you guys have seen on the podcast, my friend Kyle, who's been on the podcast, my friend Corey, from my friends Matt, Brooke, Sarah. There's a lot of them. They're like, Frank. There's a lot of them, right? And it's only in the last 3 years that I've found people like that in my life. Because so a couple things. If you heard the things I say to my bedroom ceiling, would you have me committed for the things I'm feeling? Interesting line. I've actually never really thought about it that way. But yeah, if you were to hear, or I don't really say things to my, and I don't know if he actually is talking about physically talking to the bedroom ceiling. And there's no problem with that. It's actually probably healthier than keeping everything. It's not even probably healthier. It is healthier than keeping everything in. Keeping everything in is when your mind starts spiraling, because at least when you speak to your bedroom ceiling, you're taking the whirlwind of thoughts in your brain and focusing them into one narrative, one story. It's no longer chaos. It becomes orderly. And you can deal with order. You can deal with the things you say because you can actually look at them. When it comes to your brain, you can't analyze a million cascading thoughts that are all, 1 second they're here and they're spiraling. With words, there is a spiral, like, if you're venting. But the spiral, I find at least, it starts to become more distilled and simplified as it goes. It becomes easier to handle. So speaking to your bedroom ceiling is probably, again, not probably, it's actually healthy. Because you have to talk. And here's the thing too, your bedroom ceiling is your therapist, because a good therapist doesn't impose themselves into your reality. They make you feel safe so you can come up with your own answers, so you can speak your own truth. A bedroom ceiling is the same thing. It doesn't judge you, and it's just something you can speak to, vent to, understand yourself through. Like, the whole thing of a therapist is you're supposed to understand yourself through a therapist. They might ask a few questions, probing questions. Again, some therapists will make comments if they're really skilled, and it'll be the right kind of comment. But a lot of therapists just ask good questions. They unlock ways of looking at yourself that maybe it would take a bit longer to get to if it was just you. And then, this part, would you have me committed for the things I'm feeling? Well, I think we all feel that way. There's thoughts I have that I don't want to say they're fucked up, because then I create a story that a part of myself is fucked up. I think the best way to put it is there's some thoughts I have that are socially unacceptable, and we all have them. I guarantee there's not a single person on the planet that has never had a socially unacceptable thought, or has not had a socially unacceptable thought in the last month. Guaranteed, 100%. I'm willing to bet on that, because we repress so much, and the only people that have less socially unacceptable thoughts are the people that accept the fact they have socially unacceptable thoughts, and therefore it doesn't come out like in an insidious way. Because if you're like, oh, I don't think about bad things because they're bad, and I'm not like that, guaranteed you repress things, and then you actually passive aggressively act them out, or you project them onto other people because you can't accept they're part of you. So for me, I'm like, yeah, I have socially unacceptable thoughts sometimes, 100%. We all do. And I'm just learning to be like, and that's okay. We're humans. We're not perfect. Even the best spiritual leaders in the world, they will never tell you they don't have any socially unacceptable thoughts. They'll say they're aware of their socially unacceptable thoughts. They're aware of their vices. They're aware of their sexuality. They're aware of the part of themselves that, maybe wants to do things, again, sexually, that are socially unacceptable, right? They're just aware of it, where everybody else just represses that and pretends like they're this innocent, pure person, but no one's innocent and no one's pure. Actually, that's an interesting point. Is that actually true? Is there anyone who's actually pure? No, I don't think so. Just because of human nature. Again, our kind of human instincts, again, kind of push us to, procreate and power games, where, again, like I just said, yeah, the spiritual enlightened people, they're just aware of all the stuff they have going on, and they can choose not to do that, right? And I think the only way to really kind of actually have a positive relationship or not lose yourself to your shadow is to accept your shadow. Because yeah, I know people who think they're holier than thou, and when you really get to know them, you just see how monumentally fucked up they are, like really deep down. You have to get to know them at a very deep level, because on the surface they seem like they're angels. And also a lot of those people will judge you very deeply. If they see something in you that they don't accept in themselves, they will attack you or just shame you. And anytime someone shames you, that's their shit. That's nothing to do with you. When I tell anyone else, it only goes in circles. Yeah, the venting process, it can definitely, if you're not used to speaking, if you're not used to accepting yourself and speaking and accepting how you're speaking, you will go in circles, because your brain doesn't know how to process it, because you're essentially two people. I might get into that later. That's a whole freaking can of worms. That's like a really deep concept. Sick of oversharing till my face gets purple. Oh man, that I can relate to that, because you guys know I went through a 6-month phase of, I wouldn't say oversharing, but I like shared a lot about my life, and it's important. It helped me. It was my therapy. It helped you guys a lot. Now, one thing I became aware of after a while is, am I taking my past, my traumas, and making them even worse? Because there's a certain point of just letting go, but then if you say something over and over and over again, then you make a story about it. And then, like, you guys know the people in my life who have, I've not had a great relationship with in my life, right? So it's like, if I talk about that all the time, now I think in some sense, depending on how I do it, if I'm not careful, I actually make it worse, because then I make it the story that I tell myself. I almost create a new reality about how bad my life was. It goes counterproductive to what I was actually trying to do. And so I have kind of let go of that a bit, be a bit less specific, be a bit more general, try to be as little emotional about it as I possibly can, because also I don't want to paint these people into corners and boxes, because people change and they grow and they evolve and they apologize, right? So I don't want to essentially say, like, because of what you've done in my past, you can never change, and now I'm going to hold you to account for that for the rest of your life. That's just not fair. So I think there's a balance between sharing and oversharing, and I think you have to overshare before you can figure that balance, because if you don't overshare, then you're afraid of sharing, and then you hold it in. So it's like, be okay. Just accept the fact you will overshare, and that's fine. And then you'll figure out that balance in the middle. And then, oh, this is so messed up because I trust this room more than anyone. Oh, let me spill my guts with the only ones that'll never run. When I'm at my worst and I'm so ashamed, I open up and nobody stays. Oh no, am I that messed up? So this, man, I can relate to this in high school like crazy. I don't know if I think I've told you guys about this, but I had some friends in high school where we were friends, but I felt like I was acting all the time, because I felt like if they knew who I really was, they'd either find me boring, lame, like a loser, and they would just leave. And I remember after about a year of knowing my best friend Carter, one of my best friends Carter, there's about 3 of us best friends, Victor, Alex, and Carter, and me. And I remember after like a year of being best friends with these guys, I opened up to Carter. I was like, hey man, I'm kind of terrified of you guys leaving, because I was abandoned by my friends in my first year of high school, and so that really traumatized me. And I was, for a while, really, this was grade 12 B, actually, grade 13. I stayed back for another year to get my marks up. I know. And yeah, I opened up to him about that. And that was really big for me, just accepting that about myself, because I had denied that for a long time. I pretended like that wasn't the case. And I also felt that way in university, because after high school, I was bullied a lot. And I was not popular. So in university, I said, I'm going to be super popular. And so I became super popular. One of the most I was like in the clique that was the most popular clique at our university. And, but I felt like no one really knew me. There was a couple people that knew me, but a lot of people I was acting with. And yeah, yeah, I guess I'll say that sucks. It definitely sucks. And so like after about my third year, I started just being like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna be fully myself. I'm not gonna act. And yeah, like I partied less and stuff and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's real, man. I open up and nobody stays because yeah, that's happened. My friend Christian has opened up to me about that. He was afraid of opening up to me, even though we were like, you know, best friends and we shared everything. He would always be there. He would always be my therapist. If I ever needed to talk or vent, he would be there, but he would always kind of hold back on his side. And he told me after, and we've figured this out, and he shared a lot with me and opened up to me, and I've been able to reciprocate. But at one point he was like, yeah, I kind of, in the back of my mind, I was afraid of opening up to you fully because last time I did that, I lost all my friends. They just kind of left. And so, yeah, it's really important. Some people will leave and some people will stay. It's life, right? And just find people that love themselves, not even love you, because no one will love you as much as you love yourself. Or that's not always the case, but you know what I mean. Yeah, find someone who loves themselves, because if they love themselves, they can love you. And if they love themselves, it means they can deal with their own pain and bullshit and trauma. And if they can deal with their own bullshit and trauma, they can deal with yours too. I'm not saying it's bullshit, but you know what I mean. So it's like, find someone who's dealt with their own shadows, because they can deal with yours too. And they're not afraid of it. Like I said, nothing Jake ever says makes me feel uncomfortable, because I'm like, I've dealt with all of this kind of stuff, right? It's more just, I'm not used to hearing stuff this honest, because like I said, there's a lot of bands that, like, you know, I can relate to, almost like intellectually more than from the heart. Citizen Soldier, I feel it in my heart. I relate to it from my heart. Where a lot of stuff I relate to it from my head. They say the things I've dealt with, but maybe I don't actually feel it. But I just go, oh yeah, I can relate to that. And then you guys will know me, like I'll talk about it and reflect on it because it's real. I've related to it. But Citizen Soldier's a bit deeper. It's a bit below the surface, right? And I think that's pretty much the gist of this. And then it kind of keeps going about the same kind of idea. Yeah. Oh, and then, you know, here's the thing too. This is the last thing I'll say. Hanging from my home, and nothing feels better than to cry like this. You guys know me. I'm a crier. I love crying. And, you know, I don't really cry about my own problems very much. I cry about other people's pain and their getting past it and beauty. I cry easily, like super easily. And, but crying feels very good. Just anyone who's cried recently, you know what I'm talking about. It's incredibly therapeutic. There's a warmth to crying. There's a understanding and acceptance. When you cry, it's like part of you is accepting yourself and the world as it is. In some sense, you're accepting another human being, and in accepting another human being, I think there's a part of you that's accepting yourself more. To accept the pain and the trauma of someone else is to get a bit closer to finally accepting the pain and the trauma in you, the things that you're most ashamed of. Like one of my friends, he opened up to me about having like weird sexual dreams about his mom, and he was like really ashamed of that. And I was like, hey man, people told me, you know, crazy stuff. Nothing, you know, we all have our version of that. Everybody has our version of really fucked up stuff, right? I have my version, you have your version, everybody. And, you know, I'd love to get to a world where, you know, we just accept that. That's just like, we normalize it. Yeah, people have fucked up shit. We live in a really fucked up society. So, of course, you're going to have some Oedipus complex shit from like Freud, you know what I mean? Where you're like, for the first 3 years of your life, you were attracted to your mom or your dad. That's actually remarkably common. People don't realize that, but that's actually very common. It's actually kind of in our stages of development. Usually it lasts for a couple to a few years, and a lot of the time we repress these memories because they're so ashamed, and we repress anything that society doesn't accept, right? So if society is like, yeah, we don't accept you being attracted to your dad or you being attracted to your mom, And I don't know the exact statistic. I don't know how common it is, but it's way more common than you think it is. And it's actually not a problem. It's literally a part of psychosexual development, right? And it's just that, like, you know, we're like, man, that's fucked up. And it kind of begs the question, what is actually fucked up? Is something fucked up if it's just part of your nature? Like, if something is human nature, and like, you could even say war, right? You could be like, oh man, war is so fucked up. And it's like, kind of. It's also part of you. And it's probably not healthy telling a part of yourself it's really fucked up, because we've seen how that happens. That's how you get a porn culture, a fucking what the hell is the sex S&M, sadomasochism, I think it is, like, you know, bondage and all. And, you know, we have like an intense porn culture. Everybody's addicted to porn. And so it's like, how do you get a culture that's just continually revving up the intensity of their porn addictions? It's like, make sex a taboo, and that's what you get, right? So if you make war violent, okay, all of these are Abrahamic religions too, right? It's like the most warfaring religions and cultures are those that condemn war, right? It's like, oh, thou shalt not kill. And then you get, you know, the fucking Crusades, right? With Christianity, right? It's like, that's what happens when you tell a part of yourself it's fucked up. It literally goes and plays in the shadow and dominates your entire subconscious mind and has you go to war and justifies it. It's insane. It's like, you know, love thy neighbor, but hate thy neighbor if they don't agree with your religion. You know what I mean? Or, you know, love thy neighbor, but you're going to hell if you don't believe in God. Like, it's, you know, apologies kind of to anyone who's like very religious, because you guys know me, I'm very spiritual, but I think organized religion has caused a lot of damage to the world. I think it's caused a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, and the tenets of all of these religions are absolutely beautiful. They make a lot of sense, but it is humanity that comes in and perverts these religions, makes it about, like, you know, corporate religion. You know, the Vatican is one of the richest organizations in the world. It's essentially a corporation, and it's rich. And look at all the damage it's done in the world, right? It's done some good too, but it's done a lot of damage. And if we can't accept that it's a dual thing, that it's done damage and good, if we're just like, no, it's only done good, it's like, that's what the shadow feels like. When you can feel the shadow in people's words, because they almost talk like a dogmatic robot. They won't go in and dissect their own thoughts or go, oh, that's interesting, I haven't thought about that. They'll go, no, you're wrong, I'm right. It's like you can just see it in brainwashing, right? But anyway, Jake, great song as always. I feel the thing with Citizen Soldiers, even if I ever come across a song I actually don't like musically, I think I'll always respect Jake's lyricism to a point where there's always something important to a Citizen Soldier song, regardless of even if we like the sound of it. Like, luckily, I've liked the sound of every Citizen Soldier song, but yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I mentioned before, what artists do you guys want to see on the channel next week? Leave them in the comment section down below, and then I'll take some of those and I'll put them in the Discord voting area where we will actually choose what artists come on. So if you actually want to make artists come on the channel, you got to go over the Discord and vote on it. So I get my ideas from the YouTube comment section and the Discord. I have a channel there called New Artists, Returning Artists, where you guys can tell me what you want to listen to. And the Discord is probably the best place to do that. But also, if I see things here a lot, I'll also do that. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And thank you for sticking to the end if you did. And yeah, it's, like I said on the live stream previously, commenting and liking really does help. So if you're actually interested in really helping out with the YouTube algorithm, yeah, give this video a like and comment. You can just leave like a heart or a letter. It literally doesn't know the difference. So yeah, I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. And that's it. If you guys want to support the channel and request songs and check out all of our full album reactions, which we will be doing a full album reaction to Citizen Soldier, first link down below if you'd like to support the channel and get all of that bonus content. And that's it. So I'll see all of you guys again tomorrow. I love you. Peace.